Fichter Friday, welcome back. This week I am going to finish off some of the good quotes that I've gotten on altitude training from Dan over the years. A reminder to subscribe to Want to Get Fast on Patreon to learn more about altitude or collision training. And if you're new to this type of training, a great place to start is an article that Dan and Matt Van Dyke wrote that is available on Sportsmith. Please enjoy part 2 of good quotes on altitude training. Another really cool quote from Dan: I need to figure out how to stop this weight from falling out of the sky. Okay, so let's say we're doing collision training where we're dropping and catching a weight, or we're dropping, catching our body on the ground, creating stiffness, all those qualities. So I need to figure out how to stop this weight from falling out of the sky. Well, guess what? When we're sprinting, we're falling out of the sky. And Dan's saying here, we need to be able to stop this weight from falling out of the sky. But guess what? When we are sprinting, what are we doing? We're in the air, we're falling out of the sky, and our foot is making contact with the ground. So if we aren't prepared for those forces, we're going to have deformation in our joints, and then we're going to lose that static spring quality that DB Hammer talks about. In a previous video, I gave the Jay Schroeder quote that Dan puts out on a lot of presentations of, you'll never jump 40 inches until your body feels that it is safe to land from 40 inches. And something great about altitude and collision training is it trains to take the governors off. It trains to let the body know that this weight, this speed, this height is safe, right? So we're really training the central nervous system a lot with altitude and collision training. And another great quote with that is, eliminate threat to the brain and you will perform better at your motor performance, right? Take those governors off. Get rid of that feeling of threat and increase the ceiling for your central nervous system's outputs. In a presentation, Dan quoted, everything we do is about collisions. And when I take my sport of hockey, it's literally millions of collisions going on all over the place. There's collisions of the stick with the puck. There's collisions of human to human. There's collisions of bodies getting slammed into boards, bodies getting slammed onto the ice. There's the collision of my skate blade carving into the ice to make me go and make me go forward. So if we're just doing our traditional up-down weightlifting, it's good. There's definitely a place for that, but we're not fully preparing the body for what is going to happen out there in sport, where it'll be sometimes random, sometimes we'll see it and be able to perceive it, but an impact or a collision coming. So the more we can prepare our athletes for these impacts and collisions, the more we will be preparing them for the motor tasks within their sport. And we'll begin to finish today's video off with just some really good quotes here. So someone is running on their heels because they cannot manage those collisions. J.L. Holdsworth once kind of presented at a track football consortium of, we're trying to get someone to do a hip hinge, we're asking them not to round their back, and they round their back. They're not doing it because they're like, hey, screw you, coach, I'm not going to listen to you. They're just kind of solving a motor task the way that their body knows how to. So if somebody's running on their heels, it's kind of a demonstration to us that they're not being able to manage those collisions on the forefoot or whatever we want to call it, the proper foot strike there. Another good one is, it's really hard to get kids to run fast if they can't run fast. It's really hard to get kids to run fast if they can't run fast. But you need them to log time hitting peak velocities. But how do you do it if they run so poorly? They'll continue to run poorly, and then they're going to run even worse. So spend time fixing things so they can manage these collisions. Last quote here of the day, when talking about collision or altitude training, Dan has said this: one part is tissue-based, muscles, tendons, ligaments, and the other part is brain-based. So we're not just training our muscles or our soft tissues. We're not just training our brain when we're doing altitude or collision training. We're training both. And altitude collision training helps with the managing of synergies of flexion and extension in your body, right? That co-contraction, that stiffness, that brief moment in time in every sport or motor task where the body will go through that. Which one should go, which one should fire, which one should relax a little bit. A reminder, please share some of the things that Dan and Want to Get Fast have taught you. Check out Want to Get Fast on Patreon. And a reminder of the article that Dan and Matt Van Dyke wrote on Sportsmith is a great place to start to learn about altitude or collision training. Thanks for watching Fichter Friday.